Have you ever wondered why he can't stop thinking about certain women, even if they're not the most beautiful in the room, even if they said the least, even if they walked away quietly? It's because of one thing, a trigger, a psychological imprint that keeps replaying in his mind, long after you've left the conversation, long after the moment has passed. Not because you chased, but because you didn't. Not because you begged for space, but because you became the space he keeps returning to in his thoughts. There's a reason why some women become unforgettable. It's not just what they said, it's what they made him feel. And right now, he doesn't even realize it. But he's carrying your silence like a melody stuck in his head. He thought you'd stay available, thought you'd try to impress him, but you didn't. You flipped the script. You became the mystery, the calm, the storm, the standard. Like a song with no chorus but a haunting rhythm, your energy lingers. Your presence lives in the space between what was and what could have been. And that's what keeps him up at night. Not your words, but the absence of them. Not your tears, but your strength. Not your chase, but your distance. As Marcus Aurelius once said, waste no more time arguing what a good woman should be. Be one. And that is exactly what happens the moment you stop performing and start embodying. You no longer fight for attention. You become the reason he can't focus on anyone else. He may not admit it, but he checks your silence like a locked door, hoping this time it opens. Imagine a scent he can't describe but keeps chasing. Imagine a dream he can't finish. Imagine a page left unturned. That's you now. The unfinished story, the powerful shift. The reason he replays your name in his mind, like it holds a secret he's still trying to decode. And now, lovely woman, this is your transition. No longer chasing, no longer proving, no longer hoping he sees what was always shining in front of him. Because you are not the echo. You are the sound. You are not the second choice. You are the unforgettable imprint. Dear Queens, this is your moment to step into that power. Quietly, boldly, unshakably. The psychological trigger is not what you give, it's what you withhold. Write this in the comments to claim your crown. I am the one he can't forget. And if this message reminded you of who you are, like the video and subscribe, because Queens, we rise by remembering our power, and we never look back. Number 1. He can't forget the one who made silence louder than words. He thought your silence meant you were done. What he didn't know is that your silence was just beginning to speak, louder than your words ever could, louder than your tears, louder than your presence. Because the moment you stopped explaining, stopped asking, stopped showing up, the noise inside his mind got unbearable. He didn't expect the quiet to echo. But now, every minute you're not around becomes a moment that haunts him. He used to read your messages like they were his safety net. He took your replies as his right, not a privilege. He thought you'd always be available, always ready to forgive, to explain, to fix. But the day you chose peace over proving, presence over chasing, he felt a shift. He may not say it out loud, but he checks his phone hoping for your name. And when it doesn't show, that silence rings like a bell in the middle of a storm. What you do not say screams louder than anything you could have shouted. That's the power of being still. That's the trigger he didn't see coming. Because while he's out there distracted by noise, his soul remembers your calm. His mind replays the softness of your goodbye, the strength of your stillness. And no matter how loud his world becomes, the silence you left behind has carved itself into his memory. Think of it like a song he can't stop humming. Not because it had flashy lyrics, but because it hit something deep. You became the quiet after the chaos, the peace he didn't know he needed until it was gone. And now, he can't forget it. He can't forget you. Beautiful woman, You are not broken. You just learned how to stop shrinking for a man who thought you needed to fill every silence with begging. He thought your value was in how much you gave him. But now he's learning. Your power was in what you refused to give once he walked away. This is where you begin. This is where you step into the version of you that no longer explains, no longer waits, no longer wonders. This is where you become unforgettable, because queens don't need to scream to be remembered. They let their absence do the talking. Write this in the comments to claim your power. My silence echoes louder than my words. And if this message reminded you of your worth, like this video and subscribe. We're working hard to bring you lessons that change lives. You were never meant to be ignored, Queen. You were meant to be unforgettable. Number 2, he remembers the woman who didn't just love him. She reflected him. Have you ever looked into someone's eyes and seen yourself, not in a romantic fairy tale way, but in the most honest, raw, soul-reflecting way? That's what he felt when he looked at you. You didn't just love him, you saw him. You mirrored back his greatness, his fears, his flaws, and his untapped potential. And that, right there, is the psychological trigger he can't escape. Because a man forgets compliments. He forgets moments. But he never forgets the woman who made him feel seen. Not for who he pretended to be, but for who he truly was. He didn't understand it back then. He thought you were just supportive, just loving, just different. But now he knows. You weren't just loving him, you were holding up a mirror to the parts of himself he never knew how to face. That kind of presence doesn't fade. That kind of woman doesn't get replaced, because he can't recreate that feeling with her. She might adore him, she might admire him, but she doesn't reflect him. She doesn't call him higher. She doesn't challenge his silence. She doesn't mirror his truth. Like water reflecting a mountain, still deep, honest, you gave him a version of himself he respected. And now that you're gone, he's left chasing surface reflections, hoping one of them gives him the same depth. But depth can't be copied. Connection can't be faked. And queens like you don't return to be revalued, you rise to be remembered. As Rumi once wrote, the mirror of the heart must be polished for the soul to see itself. And you were that mirror, polished with love, patience, and truth. That is why he remembers you, not because you begged, not because you tried, but because you reflected him in ways he couldn't unsee. And now, beautiful woman, it's time to step into what you've always been. You are not just the reflection, you are the light. You are not waiting for him to return. He's the one who will look back forever. Because once a man meets a woman who makes him see his own soul, he never fully returns to the world the same. Write this in the comments and claim it. I am the mirror he'll never forget. We are working hard to create truth that reminds you, you were never meant to be forgotten. You were meant to be unforgettable. Number 3. The one who gave him depth becomes the standard he uses to measure every shallow connection. Have you ever seen a man smiling with her but his eyes still look elsewhere, not searching for attention but searching for connection? That happens when he had something once, something real, something unforgettable, and lost it. He might be with her now, but every laugh feels forced, every word feels light, every moment feels empty. Because the truth is, he once touched depth, and now everything shallow feels like a lie. He didn't know it then, but you weren't just a woman, you were a mirror. You didn't just listen, you understood. You didn't just touch his skin, you touched his soul. And now, he's trying to recreate what can't be copied. Every new conversation becomes a reminder of the one he used to have with you. Every smile from her feels thin compared to the silence he shared with you that said more than words. You were the ocean, Queen, calm on the surface but powerful beneath. He went looking for puddles, thinking they'd feel the same. But puddles dry up. Depth lingers. Your love wasn't loud, it was sacred. It didn't demand attention, it shifted energy. And that is exactly why he can't forget it. He can't forget you. As Rumi once said, the wound is the place where the light enters you. And your heartbreak, it became your power. Because now he knows what he lost wasn't just affection, it was alignment. And he will measure every shallow connection against the memory of a woman who gave him depth, and nothing will ever come close. Imagine serving a man a feast of meaning and then watching him settle for snacks with no substance. That's what's happening now. He thought you were replaceable. But now, every smile reminds him of yours. Every laugh feels empty next to your silence. And every time he feels misunderstood, he remembers the one who read his soul like a book no one else could open. And now, lovely woman, your crown is waiting. No more proving, no more chasing. Let him search, let him compare, because nothing shallow can satisfy a man who once drowned in the ocean of your love. Write this in the comments and claim it. I am the depth he'll never find again. We're working hard to bring you these soul-shaking truths. Because you were never made to be forgotten, you were born to reign. Number 4. He'll chase your mystery longer than he ever valued your presence. Have you ever noticed how he starts chasing you only after you stop being so available? He didn't look twice when your love was steady, when your energy was open, when you were the one reaching out. But the moment you pulled back, suddenly, you became the only thing he could think about. He didn't value your presence when he had it, but now your mystery is haunting him. He's not missing your words. He's replaying the silence you left behind. He's not chasing your attention. He's chasing the feeling of something he couldn't fully figure out. A man doesn't obsess over what he understands. He obsesses over what he almost had but couldn't fully grasp. You were clear yet complex, warm yet untouchable. You were the calm in his storm, but you never let him feel like he had you fully. And that is the psychological trigger. You became the question he can't stop asking himself. Why does she still live in my mind? Because you were the chapter he didn't get to finish. And now he's stuck, rereading every line. As the quote says, the most unforgettable woman isn't the loudest. She's the one whose silence leaves him restless. That's what you became. A whisper in his mind, a feeling he can't name, a moment that lingers longer than he expected. Think of it like a beautiful painting locked in a private gallery. He saw it once, didn't think much, walked away. But now, he's desperate for another glimpse, and he can't stop imagining what he missed. Lovely woman, you are not here to be figured out in a moment. You are here to be remembered for a lifetime. He didn't value the version of you that gave too easily, but the version that walked away without warning? That version owns his mind now. You are no longer the one who explains. You are the one he tries to understand and fails to forget. Queens, your mystery is your power. Stop giving all your light to people who don't know how to hold it. Write this in the comments and claim it. He'll chase the mystery he never valued. And if this message reminded you of your power, like the video and subscribe. We are working hard to create these life-changing lessons for every queen rising into her reign. Number 5. He's haunted by the woman who didn't need him, but chose him. He didn't lose sleep when you left because you needed him. He lost sleep because you didn't. That's what haunts him. The fact that you were whole on your own. That you had your own light, your own world, your own rhythm. And still, you chose him. That kind of love. It's not something he can replace. It's not something he can recreate. It's the kind of connection that marks a man, whether he admits it or not. Right now, he's trying to distract himself. New faces, new voices, new moments. But your presence isn't something he can erase, because deep down, he knows your love wasn't born from need, it was born from power. You didn't stay because you were afraid to lose him. You stayed because you believed in him. And that belief, that's what keeps echoing in his mind like a memory that won't leave him alone. There's a kind of woman who breaks when a man walks away. And then there's the kind who builds a throne out of the silence he left behind. You were never the first kind. You never needed a man to define you. You offered your heart not out of desperation, but from overflow. You were the calm in his chaos, the clarity in his confusion. And now that peace, that presence, it's gone. And he's feeling the difference. As Carl Jung once said, the meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. You were the catalyst. You sparked something in him that she never will. And now, even in her arms, he wonders why it still doesn't feel the same. Think of a lighthouse. It doesn't move. It stands tall, steady, shining for those wise enough to see it. That was you. He saw the light, but he chose a flicker instead. And now, he's lost at sea, looking back at the glow he thought would always wait for him. But you, dear woman, are not waiting. You are not broken. You are the storm he didn't prepare for, and the peace he can never recreate. Queens, write this in the comments and claim it. He's haunted because I never needed him. I chose him. Because we are working hard to give you truth, healing, and power. You were never just a lover. You were the lesson he'll never forget. Number 6. He will replay the moment you stop trying, like a scene that never got closure. Have you ever seen a man freeze in thought, his mind looping back to a moment he can't undo? That's what happens when you stop trying, when you suddenly shift from being all in to pulling all the way out. And now, whether he admits it or not, he's replaying the moment over and over again, like a movie that never got its final scene. He remembers how you used to care, how you tried, how you held on, and now he's haunted by the exact second you let go. It wasn't loud, it wasn't dramatic, you didn't scream or slam the door, you just stopped. Stopped texting first, stopped asking if he was okay, stopped fighting for something he clearly wasn't choosing. And that, Queen, is the moment that carved itself into his mind. That's the trigger he can't erase. Because now, the love that once came easy from you has vanished, and his mind keeps going back, asking, when did she stop? What did I miss? As Seneca said, a man who suffers before it is necessary suffers more than is necessary. And now he's suffering, not because of what you said, but because of everything you no longer do. Your absence is the loudest noise in his world now. And every quiet moment he spends without you is a reminder of how much noise your presence once brought to his life. Think of a candle he thought would never burn out. He ignored the flame. He left it unattended, and one day he came back expecting light, but it was gone. Nothing left but melted wax and memories. That's you. You were his light, and now he sits in the dark, trying to remember the warmth he never thought he'd miss. But Queen, this moment isn't about him. This moment is your power shift. You are not a woman who begs. You are not a woman who stays where she is not valued. You are the woman who becomes unforgettable, not by doing more, but by doing less. And that's the psychological imprint that stays on his mind 24/7. So now, lovely woman, it's time to live like the queen you were born to be. Let your absence teach him what your presence never could. Let your glow return, not for him, but for yourself. Write this in the comments and claim your power. My silence rewrites the ending. Queens, we're not here to be remembered. We're here to be unforgettable. Number 7. You became unforgettable the day you became unavailable. He didn't start missing you when you cried. He didn't even miss you when you tried. He started missing you the moment your energy pulled back, the moment your presence wasn't his to reach anymore. That's when the silence got too loud. That's when your absence started screaming louder than your love ever did. Because the truth is, a man doesn't always notice the gold in his hands, but he always feels the weight when it's gone. You became unforgettable the day you became unavailable. You used to show up first. You used to answer quickly. You used to pour out your heart in hopes he would understand your worth. But now he checks his phone and sees nothing. Now he scrolls through your old photos, wondering where that version of you went. But that version of you was tied to his access. And once that access was gone, so was she. As the great Stoic said, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish. So let him think you're cold now. Let him assume you've changed, because you have. You're no longer available to someone who never valued what he had. And that change, that quiet, powerful shift, that's the trigger that will keep you in his mind 24/7. Imagine a song he always skipped until it disappeared from the playlist. Now, he replays it in his head. He can't stop humming it. He hears it in the silence, in the memories, in the places you once lit up with your love. You didn't chase, you withdrew, you became rare. And what becomes rare becomes valuable. What becomes unavailable becomes unforgettable. This is your transformation. You're no longer showing up in spaces that didn't hold you with care. You're no longer repeating your worth to a man who only hears noise when you speak truth. Because you are not here to beg, you are here to reign. You're not his fallback. You're the blueprint he'll never recreate. And now that you're gone, the very space you once filled has become the shadow that follows him. Queens, your power is not in what you give, it's in what you no longer offer. Your emotional availability was never the weakness, it was the gift. And now, he remembers that gift every time he reaches out and finds silence. Write this in the comments and claim it. My absence made me unforgettable. And if this message spoke to the Queen rising in you, like this video and subscribe. Because we are building an empire where women don't chase love, they become the reason love never forgets.